looked at the reasons for exit, the two most critical reasons for women at manager and senior manager level, first one was work-life balance, the second one was culture. And the minute you mention that word, everyone says, oh, culture's a huge thing, it's really difficult, it's, you know, and actually, I needed to find out more because I had this bucket and with this word sitting above it, I didn't actually know what sat in it. I had an inkling, having grown up in my organisation myself in the minority, but actually I really wanted to make sure I wasn't designing an entire strategy based purely on my experiences and my views. So what did we do? We got together groups of women and also others that were in a minority in our organisation, around 500 people that we listened to over quite a short period of time. I was in the very early stages of my role, so people, you know, were happy to talk to me and tell me how they really felt. And we asked them some really simple questions. And by the way, all of this costs nothing. So put them in a room, and we asked very, very simple questions about, you know, why are your friends leaving? Why do you feel the way you do? We know you're less engaged. Why? Do you plan to stay here? If you don't, you know, why don't you? And without fail, the answers that came back were consistent within about 5 minutes of each session. And that answer was broadly what I would term as everyday behaviours. So we're pretty good at dealing with the big, blatant, poor behaviours. There were, you know, people felt that they could flag this sort of stuff to HR, but actually they were talking about banter. They were talking about people making comments about their beliefs, their views, their choices in life, the way they looked, you know, you name it. And these were things that, you know, I would say could be deemed as microaggressions that go on and on and on, and eventually they have an impact on the person that is on the receiving end. So, and then I would ask the typical question, why didn't you raise it? And then I sat there and thought, but I didn't. So if I didn't, and I've been a partner for many years, then basically, why am I expecting other people to do it? And the typical answer that would come back would be one that I identified very strongly with, which was, it's not big enough to go to HR. So it is collectively, but actually the little instance weren't big enough to go to HR. And the other big one was, I'm really scared about career penalty. Because the person that I have to go to, or the person that might be told, is somebody that basically is, you know, is in charge of my destiny and my career. And my goodness, I get that. Totally understood.